Hi, my name's Robert. I come to you as an automobile enthusiast that have maintained, serviced, and repaired my own vehicles in excess of 30 years. I've had a car that lasts over 400,000 miles. The current car that I'm driving has over 220,000 miles on it. It's a 95 model. So I hope you can benefit from the information I share. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, this is Robert. I'm about to do a oil change on an Audi A4 2003 model. Just a basic change, but it does have a coolant bottle in the way of the oil filter, so we'll pull that out. I believe in using the OEM filters. It's just a safeguard against things maybe not engineered properly with the filter. So I went to the dealer, got an OEM filter. I asked them for the crush washer for the oil pan, and they don't sell the crush washers for it. So the oil filter came with the oil pan bolt. So I got a new bolt with a crush washer on it, and I got the filter from the dealer, and I'm going to use 5W30 full synthetic oil on it. This is a turbocharged car. It's a 1.8 turbo. It's not the Quattro. It's the standard front wheel drive. Quattro's 4-wheel drive. So let's get started. Here's a tool you need to do the job. You got the ramps that you put the car up off the ground. You got the oil filter wrench. I used the large band one. Got the oil pan to catch the oil you drain. I got 5W30. That's what the owner uses. The dealer recommends it's 5W40. Knee pad for crawling around, rubber gloves for trying to spare your hands and stuff. Then I got a screwdriver to take the coolant bottle loose, get it out of the way. I got the ratchet wrench, was a 19mm socket or a 3/4 socket. I got the new bolt for the oil pan, and I have the new oil filter. And then I got a rag to wipe up. So that's the tools and equipment you need to change the oil on this Audi. You want to get the car up on ramps or somehow off the ground so you can get under there and get at the oil pan bolt. First thing you want to do is start the car, warm it up a little bit, and then reach down here, pull your latch, pop your hood, hold it for 3 seconds, make sure your hood pops. Come out here. On the front of the Audi, it has a little tab inside the second zero. You pull that up, and then you lift up the hood. So now the hood is open. Next thing you want to do is check the oil level. So you want to pull a dipstick. As you can see, this dipstick is broken, so it needs to be replaced. Those are about 25 bucks at the dealer. And the service rep said if they're getting brittle up here, they might be getting brittle underneath. If they get brittle underneath and it starts breaking and falling into the oil pan, it'll clog up the oil pan pickup tube. You'll get low oil pressure lights, and it could, damage the motor by starving it from fuel. So after about 10 years, this is 2003, this is 2013, you might want to go ahead and replace that oil dipstick tube since the plastic is starting to rot away on it. So I'm going to go ahead and check the oil. So I pulled the dipstick out, wiped it off, and pulled it out again. This thing is right about at the full mark, which is good. So if it's low, you always want to let the owner know it was low and how much. This way you know if it's burning oil or losing oil for some strange reason. But this one is right about at the full mark. As long as it's between the full and the minimum, it's okay. But I don't like them getting more than a half quart low, especially on a turbocharged car like this one. Next thing I'm going to do is pull this oil pan bolt, come down under the car, and if you look under the car, you don't have to look too far, for the oil pan is just a few feet behind the bumper, and it's got that bolt right there that's, like I said, a 19mm 3/4. Most cars will have a splash panel over here. The splash panel has about 10 fasteners on it. A couple of them are inside the wheel well. So you pull those fasteners down and drop that splash pan, but this one's missing. So I'm going to pull that bolt out and drain the oil into this drain pan and recycle it. Okay, after I get all the oil drained out, I'm going to go ahead and put the new bolt in there
and the torque value here on the bolt is 30 Nm. That might be like 18 foot-pound or something like that. So you can verify that if you like. I'm going to put the bolt in a few seconds. I'm going to take the oil cap loose just to make sure enough air is pushed the oil out. It's a good idea while you're down here to look to the front of the car and check your front lower motor mount. As you can see, this one's rotted out and no more good. So if you got that situation, you may want to make plans on replacing that motor mount or taking it to a shop to have them replace it for you. This is a common failure on most front-wheel drive cars, not only the Audis. Next thing I want to do is prime the oil filter. Basically what that means is fill the oil filter up 4 or 5 times to get as much oil in the filter as you can before you install it, so that the car didn't have to fill that oil filter up while it's running and possibly starve the motor of oil for a few seconds. Next thing you want to do is move the coolant bottle. You got a Phillips screw right there. You pull that Phillips screw and you'll be able to lift this bottle up and get it out of the way so you can reach down in the motor and get at the oil filter. Once you get the screw out, you lift up on the coolant bottle, you pull it out, and the front 2 latches will come out of it. You see them there. You got one there and one there. Then you unplug the low coolant sensor so that you don't mess up those wires as you lay the bottle out of the way. In case you never unplug electrical plugs on an Audi, it's a little bit strange. You put your finger on this tab, you pull this tab down a little bit, and then pull the whole plug out. So this little tab has a release in it. You pull it down toward the wires and then pull the whole plug out. Almost every connection is like that on this Audi. Okay, I got the oil filter primed and ready to go on. It only had to fill it up twice to get it to fill up. I got a little bit of extra oil on there, but I'd rather have that primed and waste a little oil than not have it primed and starve the motor of a little bit of oil when it started. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is go in from the driver's side. I got the oil filter right there, so I'm going to slide this big wrench over it, turn it counterclockwise, and put the new oil filter in. You always want to lubricate the seal on top of the oil filter before you put it in, which you seen that one was wet from me priming the filter. And when you take this one off, make sure that the surface of the oil filter housing is clean and that the seal didn't stick to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this oil filter. Okay, I got the filter on. The instructions say turn it on hand tight. I went on ahead and turned it on hand tight and did it 1/4 turn just to make sure it was tight. Then wipe any oil off of it so you can check it for leaks. You're not going to tell if it leaked if you let oil drip down it from priming it. Go ahead and put the coolant bottle back in. Plug in that sensor. Tuck the bottle down in its brackets. And then put this Phillips screw in the back of it. Okay, I got the oil pan bolt in and tight. I got the coolant bottle in. I got the oil filter on coolant tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and add oil. I read somewhere where it takes 4.2 quarts. So I'm not going to put this whole 5-quart bottle in there. It'd be a good idea to use a filter and a funnel rather, so that the funnel will catch and stop you from making a mess on top of the motor with an oil spill. Okay, I put 4 quarts in, and like I said, I use full synthetic oil. So I'm going to start the car, let it run for 4 or 5 minutes, then I'm going to check the oil level. You definitely want to run full synthetic in this motor because it's turbocharged, and for some reason this motor is known for building up sludge. So use synthetic oil and change it at least once every 5,000 miles. It's a small motor with high performance, so that's what you need to do. If you feel that this information was beneficial, please like it and share it with your social media friends. Go ahead and subscribe to my page so you will get notification of future videos that I post. You can feel free to visit my website, robertspinner.com, post questions, and thanks again for watching.